Chat, here we go. It's Nass versus Atow, and I'm showing you guys the scoreboard right now because I know there's going to be questions. M80 Nass is back in EU. So it is a low ping matchup between Nass and Atow. And the only thing that has separated these guys is a massive ocean, while they have both dominated in their respective regions they were playing in. Nass, I think he even got over his Diaz Demons towards the end. Maybe you guys can remind me of some sort of loss he might have had, but I think Nass had it figured out over there in North America after not too long. And right before he transitioned to North America, he had EU figured out as well, because he was able to win the last two Salt Mine events, and those have been probably the most competitive single region events that we've ever seen in 1v1. You can maybe argue that some cross regions ones may be more intense, maybe more prestigious, but the only thing holding Salt Mine 3 back from being the biggest ever is the fact there was no crossover. Atow, in the meantime, if you haven't been watching, has been winning show matches left and right. He has dropped a game or a match to Moxie in recent memory, but he's also beat him more times than he's lost to him. He's played him a bunch of times recently, just because Atow seems active and Moxie, of course, is always active. That's why we've had a few different games. But while Nass was gone, was Atow reigning supreme only because Nass was absent? That is what he has an opportunity to prove today. And right now is up 2-1 as he tries to dive in on the demo. I think he knew he wasn't getting ball, but he was hoping to connect with Atow as he drove underneath it. And now these guys dance around with close plays back and forth before Nass gets his long shot. And his third goal. Kirk Leonard, thank you for the prime. Appreciate you. Priming till full time. Nass kind of plays like Seer. Nass does play closer to an android built to play 1v1 for sure than I think Atow does. Atow has always been a very unique, stylish type player, and he finds a way to win while doing that. Nass, although he has the full range of ability when it comes to his 1v1 play, there's nothing he can't do. He instead looks to play the highest percent chance type play much more often, like maybe a low 50 into a fourth goal, as he tries to half flip off this one. And wow, he actually got a second touch. He did it twice, and I thought for sure he's out of the play. And yet he almost found his way back. Atow just protecting the ball on the double jump pop. Another show match? Wow. Hey. Hey, come on. How long has it been? I get multiple matches. Don't hit me with another show match question mark. We're always doing multiple matches here. Atow. Wave dash pop to the backboard. Nass. Wow, not able to get a dish. Atow recovers. Only 19 boosts to work with. Hook shot set up off the side wall and going for the double as well. But not nearly high enough to prevent Atow from being able to break it up. Want to get away with those in ones. They usually have to be really aggressively placed to set up that double. And that's exactly what Atow loves to do often in his 1v1 games, as he finds Nass out of position and just booms the ball. How do you pronounce Rico? I don't know. His name is Atow, so I'm assuming they rhyme. Nass on his air dribble saves more than enough left over to stay in the play after Atow 50s. That was not the touch he wanted, and he actually just guaranteed his demise with that flip. Not that he might have already been screwed either way, but he did that flip to be back towards his net. Nass just got bumped into the back corner. Now trying to bump Atow. It's not going to work. Atow powers through the physical play and gets himself a lead. Nass seem to be pulling away early. But the match is still early on. Lots left to be played. Atow already found his way back. Nass, low 50, powers over the top of Atow. When people talk about Nass, they talk about his low 50s. When he made his move over to North America and therefore started playing North American ranked, I specifically remember a comment from Rise talking about how he's going to go low 50 everybody over there on US East into the Shadow Realm. That has not changed after his tenure in North America as he tries to dash his way back and succeeds in doing so, but will have to fully retreat. Now, double jump. Not connected with Nass, able to wait underneath and still make the save. $59 boost off this setup. And Nass does not like to go all in. So you see him saving what he has left over and bailing out of this play. And he's actually might have it pay off. It seemed like he was going to be in big trouble. That was very risky. Nass really didn't want to give the ball away, I'd have to assume, as why he didn't go for a strong clear here. Instead, tried to bail out of it and land. He thought maybe Atow was convinced, because he definitely could have gone up and made a quick touch, put it into the corner. Maybe Atow's predicting that, just kind of leaves the play. And then he could get away with that fake and that catch, but it's not the way it worked out. Kickoff goal, though, immediately ties it right back up. Nass trying to flick over the top of Atow. And Atow will convert it into a booming clear. Nass will cut it right back at your net, especially when Atow is so good on high boost. He wants to play the low boost game. He wants to keep him pinned in net, where the player who will get the edge will be the player with the low 50s in the ground game, like Nass has the advantage in. Eventually gets his 7th goal. Atow never picking up 100 in that whole process. Koiliga, thank you for the tier 1 for 11 months. Appreciate that support. Nass seems to be wasting a bit of time here as he grabs both back corner boosts, but the demo attempt forces Nass to avoid it by launching the ball the length of the field, and now it's in control of Atow, but Atow could not get past Nass. He has the save on the flick and will convert it for a goal of his own. Nass proven to be built different in 1v1. Did not lose a step over in his time in North America. I would say that EU ranked 1v1, not only can it be played more, because I think there's just more players at the high levels, but I think it's probably the fires where all the best ones players have, or most of the best ones players, I should say, have been forged. Nass going to take game number 1. Game 2. And Nass didn't seem like he was holding his controller in the first moment, but the way the ones meta works, I'm sure Atow didn't even necessarily realize, because lots of players are doing weird stuff on the kickoff. Or maybe he did and chipped it into the corner for him. Nass. Goal line save. Not worried about picking up that back corner 100. Finds it much more important to be at the perfect distance for the right challenge, as Atow gonna find a way to get this on target. It didn't look like it was possible to be scored with the first touch, looking like it was headed wide of the net, but of course Atow made it look like it was guaranteed inside the post the whole way. Hootie, thank you for the raid. Appreciate you, my man. Nass did not pick up the 100. No real reason to explain that. That's just a miss. As he looks to challenge from the ceiling. He gets there before Atow gets anything started, and he even taps it towards net. Couldn't get it on target, and the Zap Dash won't save him here. The ball's going to get glued to the back wall. He'll be forced to leave as Atow tries to bail out of his dribble and go for the bump. He's gone for that a couple times now. Just long distance bumps in the sense that, you know, he's going way out ahead of the ball to try and find him. It's not going to be easy to do that. He has another possession. This flick collected by Nass. Wall dash demo from Atow, and it should be a chip on target and a finish. No, it's not. Atow, a little lackadaisical about it. And Nass found his way back, although Atow is going to get his goal either way. Atow definitely could have played that better off the demo, but he'll power slide around this one and chip it over Nass. Atow just waiting for possession here. Sees Nass going for the pinch, doesn't mind it, just picks up the boost, knows he's eventually going to get his shot, and this is it right here. Nice use of the flip. Perfect timing. Instead of going for the flick early and allowing Nass to maybe make a high save, he needs to let the ball drop farther, which is exactly what he does, and then uses the front flip, forcing Nass to cover as much distance as possible on that low save attempts. Atow up 3-0. Atow going to make it 4-0 as he looks to bounce back from the Game 1 loss. It was still a competitive game. It's not like it was a complete blowout for Nass, but it's definitely controlled by Nass. This one very clearly controlled by Atow in the first couple minutes. Atow, he is just punishing every little mistake from Nass. On 13 boost, he tried to both pop the ball and start his wave dash recovery, and maybe needed to focus a little bit more on where the ball was headed. So he lets it fall directly into Atow's control, and a long shot converts. Nass going high, really aggressive setup off the back wall. He did need to boom the ball in order to make sure Atow doesn't get a clean save, but you can't go that high. I mean, if you go too high, you can't even follow it up. And now Nass, maybe tilting or maybe just low on boost, felt like the best way to make the save as he retreated instead of holding onto the brakes was keep his momentum, go in and out of the net. But Atow reads that from a mile away and drops it in the bottom left corner. Atow, a little pinch around Nass, and right back to the ball. 7-0 here in this game number 2. I don't think that's how any of us expected game number 2 to go after what we saw in game 1. But actually still a ton of time, so I don't even necessarily think it's forfeit territory for Nass. He's got time to see if he can get a bit of a run going, and maybe it becomes a game in the final minutes. He will get his first, as Atow flips away from this ball. Ooh, I feel like Nass turned into that. I don't know if he thought he was going to be stronger or be able to wave dash and fight through it, but not only did it not look like he avoided it, it looked like he was going to wave dash into it. Atow deletes him and takes the long shot on no boost, but didn't need any. Atow able to recover back and pick up his back corner boost. Does feel like Nass needs to hold on to possession for basically the entirety of the rest of the game if he wants to bring his way back. Atow just faking, fake after fake after fake, forcing boost out of Nass and not allowing him to ever escape. Although he should be able to escape right now because he has a boost advantage. Nass couldn't accelerate the ball enough to get it out ahead of both of theirs trips back to the orange half. Atow, another demo. I talked about this before, but he is one of the most physical ones players, if not the most physical Moxie has his occasions when he likes to go for bumps. Atow seems to be able to get these demos at any part of the map at any time. Game number 2. A dominant one for Atow. Nass into another Fennec for game number 3. He does like to switch up. I think he changed his car design after his win as well. Everyone knows your car becomes stale after you play with it for 5 minutes. You have to get into a new one. But Nass definitely needs something to change here in game number 3. And it has to be not just his decal, as Atow was running it up. I don't think Nass necessarily forfeited any earlier or later than he should have. I talked about how, even when he was down 7-1, there was a ton of time left. He actually could have brought it back, but he did his best, never really found any momentum, and then once Atow scored again, it was over with about a minute. So he's into his next game. Can he slow Atow down? So far, what, a 10-1 or 10-2 run? Atow's going to score again. Atow seems to have it figured out. Knows how Nass wants to play. And has just found the speed to beat him to these balls. Okay. One way to get back into the game is to get Atow to own goal. I don't know how forced this one was. We watched it from Atow POV. He had to stop it. Yeah, it was pretty tough. Certainly pretty tough. Nass. Air dribble reset. He wants his demo. Able to find it. Now start again. Atow pre-jumping, going to the ceiling to meet him there. And the pinch goes into the orange corner. It's a race for the boost, and Atow wins it. So Nass expected to back off, but will pre-jump a bit more passively than Atow did as he shadowed. Atow wants a double and finds his way through. Nass was covering a lot of angles and was still, giving himself a chance to make this play if Atow did not place it perfectly. He's able to double it and put it right behind him. 3-1 lead. The huge run for Atow continues. Scoring for Nass has stopped, and wow, what a save. But Nass not in a good place. Going to take a trip to pick up a couple pads. It might not be enough. Atow, a couple resets and a goal. You see this happen a lot. Nass knows sitting in net with 0 is a death sentence, so no reason to do that. You have to go pick up some. But oftentimes, it still doesn't matter when you have a guy like Atow on the other side of the field. Atow on a slow dribble. Ball cam wouldn't help him there. Nass was directly behind the ball. So we had to just listen to see what he was going to get. Nass sees the early challenge coming, does his best to move off the ball and prepare for the 50, but it's up to Atow to be as quick as possible to not allow that adjustment before he gets there, and did well enough. Stop the attack. This pogo is going to be saved. Nass wants to flick it top left. Atow lands awkwardly. This is Nass's opportunity, but that first touch is not it. It's going to allow Atow to clear the ball and reset the possession. It should still be Nass's, but now in a much tougher position. So he has to protect the ball falling off the wall. Costs him a ton of boost to get this going, and really costs him his entire chance. So he has to kill the bounce. He's going to reset instead with half the game left to go. And Atow just being a pest around the ball at all times, and Nass doesn't ever feel like he can get anything started. Fortunately, he makes his way back to the demo, and now he's got space. The demo gives him space. Atow goes to the ceiling, back down, makes the save. Faked the save high. Nass decided to shoot the ball down as a way to counter that, but Atow found his way back down in time, and now he's going to stop it on the goal line. Nass hadn't completely stopped, though. He'd be on his way back, so he wouldn't be able to waste that much time. finding a way to score off this. Oh, I thought for a second he might have put it on the post and out. Another kickoff in his favor. Nass, just awkward. Set up sideways. Didn't feel like he would be able to fully retreat. Stay in the game. Didn't feel like he could really challenge. Atow is just riding on his nose, and yet somehow doesn't matter. Back into play like it was all part of the plan. Nass 50. Big touch. Atow coming off the wall. Nass trying to get around him with a soft flick high. Not able to. Atow is on 0 though. Can Nass keep this possession around that? This is the game that Nass wants to play. This is the game that Nass feels great in. Atow completely starved. Make him make save after save after save with a pad worth of boost, and he's not likely to be able to escape. It's just Nass has struggled to get him there in order to convert those plays. Nass grabs the midfield. Gonna pop this one up high as he retreats to the back corner. Atow just gonna boom the ball on target. Nass saving it with the crossbar in hopes probably to run out on a possession of his own, but Atow's first to the ball. Now Nass falling from the ceiling. Gets Atow to play the dribble on the second take, and Nass could not slow it down. Nass has had to defend this way because he's been challenging early. He wants to go next. He's been forced to retreat at high speeds, which makes it hard to stop your momentum and actually make the save. And so oftentimes you'll get a soft save like that after finding yourself underneath the play. Atow, 2 straight dominating games as we head to game number 4. Game 4. If trends were to continue, Atow will be winning in dominant fashion. But Nass has had enough of the Fennec. It's time to hop into the Octane to see if that gives him the mix-up he needs, and he might be looking at the first lead he's had in 10 minutes. It looks like he maybe didn't have a preset ready. Oh, no, he does. This is a painted Octane, it looks like. Or is it not? No, it might just be a close to Stocktane. Atow just pre-jumped, and there's just a ton of mind games going on in the ones game nowadays. When somebody does pre-jump, are you going to pull it back down to the ground? Are you going to fake like you're pulling it back down to the ground to get the defender to go back down to the ground and stay up in the air? It's a constant back and forth match in every moment. And sometimes it looks silly when the end result is Nass just air dribbling the ball directly into Atow when he's been up there for an hour. It's like, well, didn't you see him? Well, what was happening in the meantime was a ton of different decisions on whether or not he was going to bail out of the dribble or keep going. Atow, a little wave dash catch, and protects the ball as well, forcing Nass to try and make that save high off the ground. Nass, just a front foot flick, doesn't have to be fancy when the net is open. We'll watch how Atow retreats here. Swings really wide. He's trying to set up to be able to save with momentum. Get the ball into the corner. Turn it into a possession for him instead of getting pinned back. But in that moment, he swings wide enough to leave the gap too wide. Nass finds his way through. Nass on the bounce dribble, and he noticed Atow was not going to be protecting that left side of the net. All it took was a power shot off the bounce. That is the kind of gameplay that never goes stale in ones. Those have worked for a really long time, and they work at lower ranks as well. Nass on 0. Really just fortunately dodges the demo and somehow turns his car onto indestructible mode as Atow just rams into it without getting a demo. And now another pre-jump from Nass. And he's playing these really passively. You can see him boosting backwards a ton as he pre-jumps and trying to get out up over the top of Atow. Doesn't work out here. And he'll never bump Atow into the ball and have him save it, which is, you know, one of the ways to get out of those air dribble bumps, because he's just playing it as passively as you can. Almost snuck one in. Atow loves to dive across the net and get saves, though. Big flick is off. He thought there was going to be a different post bounce. I think he thought it was going to be out into the midfield, or at least stood a chance at it, and he wanted to be around to finish it. If so, and Atow is just sitting here waiting. And if I didn't just watch Atow save absolutely every shot that was thrown at him in his previous match, I would maybe be a little bit less appalled. But it looks like Atow just right in that moment hit the brakes, felt like he had to stop moving, and then couldn't get the speed back in order to get the actual save. Maybe if he kept rolling through, he would have rolled past it. Atow back to the air dribble bump. This time Nass stops it. Atow returns to the play quick enough, though, to not allow a long shot. It'll actually be an Atow possession again. 36 boost. He's not going to go up in the air with this. Instead, plays into the ground game that Nass would love him to constantly play. I think Nass feels confident he has the edge there on the ground. These guys are going to be playing with low boosts close to the grass. It's going to favor him, but maybe not. Atow showing he's got some ground game as well, as he just takes this one straight down the center of the field. He can see Nass the whole way. He knows he's not challenging, and by the time he does, it's too late. Nass up to the skies. A great collection of the ball, and a fake on the reset will do. Not sure it was intentional. Watching from Nass's POV, felt like he was maybe trying to get a little something on the ball. But I tell you what, it's a great fake. I mean, if it's an intentional fake, flipping like that just past the ball, inches away from getting a strong touch. I mean, there's a reason why Atow believed it was coming. He's going to get himself a kickoff goal. Nass was late to the kickoff. Atow wasn't even that quick, and he's still able to wave dash, force it into the blue half. Nass wants a little bump on Atow, trying to affect his rotation outs. A little bit of a telegraph flick. Atow recognized before the power of the musty was able to launch it. Nice goal line reception. He got bumped, but he returns right back to the ball. It cost him all his boost. He wanted to touch, missed it, but still in the play. Now Atow again, lean back resets. Pinned it too high. Starting to give Nass credit defensively and trying to find the perfect placements, crossbar and down, and sometimes you beat yourself that way. Atow, this time it'll convert. The reset not only gets the demo, but I think it was over the top of Nass anyways. It's Nass watching this replay as well. Did I watch the Seer matches versus pros? And do you think AI should be added to the game by Psionics as a form of practice? Yeah, for sure. It'd be cool to have the good AIs as, you know, what was his save? Sorry, this was an exotic pre-flip save where he pops the flick. I mean, it looked like he had made a mistake and the ball was going to drop down in a bad position, but then he pre-flip popped it. He's up 1 with 50 seconds. But yeah, I think they could add the AI. But the problem is right now is they didn't make it. And I don't think they're working to make it what a save. But as long as Nass keeps possession, he is really good at closing out these games in which he has the lead. You can see right now taking absolutely no risks, forcing Atow to make tough save after tough save. Still gets to this corner boost first. Now going to the ceiling and sees Atow backing off, so he tries to play it safe, but he might have just allowed Atow a counterattack. The zap dash is not enough. Atow tried to use it on low boost to get back, but he still has a possession. 17 seconds left to go, and now he's playing the slow game in order to win the low 50 and tie the game up. Nass was trying to stall out the game, basically, on offense by playing as safe as possible. But one misstep allowed Atow to break out, and he has tied the game. Half flip kickoff for him. Nass used all his boost, didn't have the read. Just gave Atow the ball, and it's going to be a goal for Atow. Nass did not read the half flip kickoff quick enough, and then he thought he was going to get a 50. I think he was expecting some resistance as he rolled the ball away. But Atow just backed off and said, I prefer a clean possession. Wave dash kickoff. The bump might just be the reason it ends. Nice steal from the boost. Nass has boost. Atow's going to be nowhere around, or at least he's going to have not a lot to catch back up. Nass tried to keep it up. It does hit ground, though. Atow is going to get a 3-1 win. It looked like we were headed to game 5, but Atow never gave up. Got the equalizer late, and the win in OT. GG's.